Hello everyone and welcome back to another video here on the channel. Today we are going to be back again playing more post-rotation format on TCG Live, again before Perfect Order is released, so still no Meowths, but we're going to make it work, and today we are going to be playing Jellicent Dusknoir. This deck has seen a little bit of success in Japan, and of course it seems like a pretty interesting archetype to play. You've got Dusknoir, of course, great Pokemon with great abilities to just place damage counters anywhere you'd like on your opponent's field, and you've got Frillish and Jellicent for item lock. So let's go through the deck list, kind of talk about exactly what we're doing here. So obviously we've got Frillish, we've got Jellicent. Jellicent is going to probably end up being our primary attacker in a lot of situations here. Being able to just lock out any items and tools from our opponent's hand is always great, and Power Press, being able to do a solid 160 damage per turn once we get things going. Of course, we've got Lillie's Clefairy for the Dragapult matchup. You kind of just need it, otherwise it doesn't really do much for you. Latias for pivoting, etc, etc. Let's talk about our supporter line. Oh, actually, before I forget, we don't have a Meowth in here, so I did up the count of Wondrous Patch, which I'll get to in just a moment. That's just because we're not playing on TCG lot or with Perfect Order legal quite yet as of the time of this recording. It will be legal soon, I believe in the next 4 days or so. So let's talk about our trainer line. We are running for Lillie's Determination, of course the best draw supporter we have right now. We're running 2 Colress's Tenacity for Stadium Search and Mystery Garden, and also Energy Search for the energies, which we'll talk about in just a little bit. But overall, just solid search card. Boss's Orders, self-explanatory. We've got Hilda for Energy Search and Evolution Search as well. Harlequin is replacing Judge here. Perfect Order not being out means Judge is still not legal in the post-rotation format on TCG Live, so we are stuck with Harlequin. 4 Ultra Ball, 4 Poké Pad for Pokemon Search, 3 Rare Candy to get into Dusknoir relatively quickly, 2 Night Stretcher for recovery, 3 Wondrous Patch. Originally I was planning on running 2, but again, no Meowth, so we have to go with what we've got. And that will get us our energy acceleration. Secret Box as the A-spec of choice, getting us whatever cards we may need. And Mystery Garden for draw. For energy, we don't have access to telepathic psychic energy yet. Again, just the nature of how we're playing right now on TCG Live, so we are just going with 8 psychic energy. I do want to put 4 telepathic psychic energy when that comes in, just based off what I've seen in Japan and what's been doing well. And also we're running 3 ignition energy to help with getting that additional energy cost from Jellicent for the attacks. So with that being said, let's get into the game, shall we? All right, we are leading Frillish in the active against a deck with a Latias in it, so I honestly have no idea. That could literally be any deck in the format. We'll have to see what our opponent plays down. Looks like Yanmega? You know, I'm gonna pretend to understand what some people cook up in this TCG Live format. Now, our opponent knows that they're going to not be able to really play anything next turn, and they're going to get things set up, I think. Now, the question does come up of if we do gamble on the I mean, no matter what, we're going to establish item lock anyway, so I think it's almost always worth it to just establish Jellicent and then Lillie's here. We're really never punished in any way by having that happen, because they don't get to play any items no matter what, and we still have a chance at going into an energy. I really don't also want to throw down another Frillish. Hey, look at energy. Look at that. I don't really want to throw down another Frillish here just because I don't want to have to deal with getting gusted around and then our opponent just getting free items. But being able to just kind of go into that is nice. I will say it would be really nice to have access to that special energy, the telepathic special energy, and just grab Duskulls. That'd be great. But alas, this is what must be done. Yanmega. I gotta always remember what this deck does. Oh my god. they're going to press Jet Cyclone. And now we need to not lose the game. So we are going to, I think, here go... Got choices. We are going to bench Duskull and Frillish here, for sure. And I almost think we want to maybe hang on to Secret Box for next turn. I don't know, there's choices here, because I can guarantee that we put a lot of damage here on this Yanmega and get into a Dusknoir on the following turn. And then I suppose we do have 2 Wondrous Patches to get a Jellicent back online. So I almost say that would be worth it here. Let's put down a Mystery Garden, just grab a Ignition Energy at another Mystery Garden here. And we'll just say Power Press for 160 and leave this Yanmega open to being Curse Blasted on the following turn. Realistically, I probably get Jet Cycloned by the Yanma on the bench. Although I'm just genuinely kind of curious. Oh, Mega Heracross, wow. Okay, so this will be interesting because we're gonna see their Yanmega come up and likely they're just gonna Jet Cyclone into Yanmega and get Mega Heracross set up on their next turn. So regardless, we do have a pretty decent opportunity on this next turn to take a few prize cards. Pulling that off the top does help a lot. Okay, so we need to, of course, Secret Box here. We can discard a Lillies. We can discard the energy as well. No, I think, well, we can discard a Wondrous Patch because this gives us also an out to do more draw here. We definitely want to grab Rare Candy. And then for the supporter, I think we're just going to grab Hilda because that guarantees us we should have a Jellicent in here. Yes, we do. Okay, so we're just going to grab Hilda and Jellicent, and we're gonna probably just get things started at a minimum. Okay, let's play around here. So we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna start by Wondrous Patching to our Frillish. We are gonna Rare Candy into Dusknoir, and then we're gonna go ahead and Hilda grab ourselves a Jellicent and an Ignition Energy. We do still have 1 Ignition Energy left, which is really good. We're gonna go ahead and pop Jellicent down, play Ignition Energy and Mystery Garden, draw 2. Now here's where we kind of get a choice. We can Curse Blast onto the Mega Heracross, or we can Curse Blast onto the Yanmega, take 2 prize cards, and swing into the active Yanmega as well. Now we don't have an immediate Dusknoir for the following turn, which is annoying. Or alternatively, we can... Yeah, I kind of think we just kind of spread it. No. Let's knock out the benched Yanmega here. Take our 2 prize cards. We do pull Harlequin off the top, and we get Duskull. That is actually really big. So it really just depends on what we see on this next turn. Because if they retreat into the Mega Heracross and then we're able to pull Rare Candy and... If we were able to pull Rare Candy and an Ignition Energy off the top, we are in a really good spot. What do they discard? That's annoying. I would have really liked that Lillies. So we're just gonna, I think, Harlequin here and go gambling. We hit the heads. So we need to see... Honestly, could have been a lot worse, but we are still in a very losing position here. Yeah, I don't think there's a way out of this. I mean, we can draw more. We can draw more. So let's just kind of just have to rip it. We need Ignition Energy and Rare Candy. Ooh, we got one of them. That's not enough. Yeah. That is really unfortunate. Unless, did this Duskull come in on this turn? Because if it didn't, I don't know, we've got possibility here. I genuinely can't remember if this Duskull came in on this turn. It did, okay. We pretty much just lose then, unfortunately. Well, we got one of the pieces that we need. Such is life. Yeah, there is, would have been really nice, because I think if I had access to the Dusclops, this would have been enough. No, it wouldn't have. I still would have needed the Ignition Energy regardless. All right. Yeah, unfortunate. Alrighty, we are going second into some form of evolution deck. Well, Duskull deck, so we'll have to see what it is. I'm assuming it's just going to be Dragapult. Show me the Dragapult, or show me the Dreepies. It is absolutely Dragapult. They are getting ready to not be item locked. Throwing risky ruins down. Okay. Well, that's something that we like to see. Let us get things started. We're gonna go ahead and grab ourselves a Duskull. And then I do think it's like, I don't think it's worth putting down Lillie's Clefairy here. I think we just Lillie's Determination and just kind of pull into the stuff. We'll grab, I'm always happy to see another Dusclops there. I mean, Risky Ruins is annoying, don't get me wrong, and I probably could have Mystery Garden first. Oops, bad sequencing. But it could be a lot worse. We're just gonna go ahead and I think press Gloom. And yeah. Drawing back into Lillie's Clefairy is kind of hilarious to me though. All right, back to our turn here. They're just getting Dracloak set up. Makes a lot of sense. So we do have a Dusclops here. Now we do have kind of a choice. I think we can afford to, well, do we, how much are we gonna be, how are we gonna be able to thin this down? Let's see here. So if I throw down Lillie's Clefairy, well, if I throw down Mystery Garden, that takes us down to, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 cards in hand. Lillie's Clefairy takes us to 5. Attach for turn takes us to 4. Wondrous Patch takes us to 3. I think we can afford to dig a little before using Lillie's Determination here. And just Mystery Garden and kind of see what we draw into. It's really nothing. So I think we are just gonna go Lillie's Determination here. And we are gonna go see we are gonna see the access to Jellicent. I almost wonder how much it's worth putting this down, because we also just do have Rare Candy Dusknoir, which is nice to see. think we just go for, I think we just grab a Jellicent here. Because we've got access to this. Yeah, and then we can knock out, we could take the knockout on the Dracloak with energy. We have a Duskull for next turn. We've got a Night Stretcher in hand. I think there's no real issue with just throwing a Jellicent in the active. Now, of course, they could just pull Neo Upper Energy out of their butt, which would suck. But sometimes you must gamble. And then I suppose we also have Clefairy just to kind of back that up no matter what. We're just gonna press Power Press. I'd like to think we're in a pretty good spot right now, at a minimum. Of course, I could always be just completely surprised and get smacked by a Dragapult plus Neo Upper Energy, but I also don't know if they're running Neo Upper Energy or if they're running Unfair Stamp right now on the list. I assume we'll be soon to find out. I would think if I was my opponent, I'd want to maybe get started on attaching to this Dreepy, or at least getting this Dracloak out of the active. Because Jellicent's just going to be a real big pain. Now, if they're gusting, I'm assuming it's going to be for the Clefairy. Now it's just going to be for the Duskull, which seems a bit odd to me unless he... I feel like my opponent would really only do this if they don't have access to Dragapult this turn. I almost feel like you'd never want... You would... Like, well, I suppose... I feel like you would want to deal with... Or force me to retreat off this Clefairy. What do they grab? Psychic Energy. Makes sense. Although with this hand, I can kind of just wipe their board of Dreepies, which is great, and I'd love that. Watchtower. Makes sense. Mystery Garden's good for me. Yeah, if I was my opponent, I don't want to see an attachment on this Dreepy, I want to say. I think that's probably their best call, just because you don't know that I have access to go knockout on this next turn, and I think you just want to see... I think you just have to see a... you have to just see a card, extra card here. Well, they're gonna get the Dracloak. Pitch in the Dragapult, which makes sense. Gonna see a Recon Directive, and then, yeah. Attaches to the active. Stamp. Unfair by name, unfair by nature. Will we find Hilda? We find Hilda off the top. I'll take Hilda off the top any day of the week. Now, ironically enough, I'm going to do this in a slightly odd way, because with this, I can still completely wipe their board of Dracloaks. Because I just Hilda for a Psychic Energy. And then also grab a Dusknoir, which I should still have Dusknoirs left in the deck. If I don't, something's wrong. Grab a Dreepy, makes sense. And we're gonna hang on to this Ignition Energy. And we pull Mystery Garden off the top. I think we're just going to go for the guaranteed play here, which is just grab Psychic Energy Dusknoir and attach Retreat out of the active, and then Dusknoir the bench or Cloak. It's like I haven't used Ignition Energy yet, and I almost wonder if it's worth just drawing some extra cards, because I really have nothing on the next turn. I think that might be slightly better. Even though we're going to lose Ignition Energy, I don't think that's the worst thing in the world. And, you know, we are just never punished for our actions. And we are just going to go Curse Blast the bench Dracloak. And then knock out the active Dracloak with energy. And then if we, for some reason, top deck a boss, we have game. But I don't know if we're actually going to do that. Now, we do have some ways to kind of guarantee game next turn, because they can't really Dusclops, or they can't really Dusknoir me. I go down to one prize, and then they just kind of lose to me popping a Dusknoir. Unless they plan to Dusknoir my Dusclops, which still leaves me at one prize card. Yeah, almost like they would, in order to kind of get around this, they need to fez into Rare Candy boss Neo Upper Energy Dragapult. And even then, it almost seems like, so the boss to grab my Clefairy into the active. Do they have the Rare Candy in hand? I'm assuming by the fact they're grabbing Dragapult, they do. But they can't have Neo Upper because they don't have Stamp. They have Stamp in the game. So there's... Almost seems like... I mean, unless they're just going to go Curse Blast my Clefairy. Take me to 1, they take 2. I suppose we can kind of thin this down a bit. So we need to pull ourselves a Night Stretcher, pretty much. So we can draw some cards. We're gonna draw 2. Oh, well, would you look at that? We have game anyways. And that'll be it. And with that, I want to thank you all so much for watching yet another episode of TCG Live gameplay here on the channel. If you guys did enjoy, please make sure you leave a like down below and comment what deck you'd like to see me try out next. If you have any ideas, please, by all means, send them my way. I will play pretty much any deck in the format as long as it is fun. And as always, I will see you all in the next video. Goodbye.